Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris and I just got done watching Terminator Dark Fate. With Terminator Dark Fate, it is a sort of soft reboot for the franchise, ignoring every sequel after Terminator 2, essentially making this movie the real Terminator 3. We follow a young girl named Dani Ramos who, after one day, a soldier from the future shows up at her door insisting to come with her if she wants to live. From here, Dani Ramos will learn of her importance to the future and the dark fate of humanity. And that's all pretty much say without giving any spoilers to you guys. This is a spoiler-free review. Now, I gotta say, I was one of those lucky people who bought a screening at Alamo Drafthouse to go see Terminator 2, and then when showing up there, it was actually a surprise screening for Terminator Dark Fate. And the joke was on me because I specifically bought tickets for Terminator 2 to catch up my girlfriend with the series so she's prepared for Terminator Dark Fate. So she went from Terminator 1 straight to Dark Fate. It was still really worth it though. And lastly, before getting into the review, I did snag me a couple of those posters they were giving away. I know some of y'all couldn't make it there, so I grabbed some. If you want one, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and comment down below about Terminator Dark Fate, and you could win one of those. Looks beautiful above my bed though. So right off the bat with this Terminator movie, yes, it is the best Terminator movie we've gotten since Terminator 2. And I understand completely that that's not saying much because every sequel after Terminator 2 just didn't hold up. I think there is something enjoyable in each sequel for every Terminator fan to get some sort of kick out of it, but when I tell you Terminator Dark Fate is basically all enjoyable, then I really mean this is the best Terminator movie we've gotten since Terminator 2. And I think a lot of that has to do with Linda Hamilton's return, because I think if she was not in this movie, I would think this would be on the same list as Terminator 3, Genesis, and Salvation. But adding Linda Hamilton and what she brings to the story holds it up to another level. It is because of her that this movie gets an emotional element, has some really badass action scenes, and also keeps it in line with the continuity that makes it feel like the first two Terminator movies that was missing in the remaining sequels. Older or not, Linda Hamilton has not missed a beat. She is funny in this movie. She kicks so much butt. And even though we see Arnold Schwarzenegger as the face of the Terminator franchise, Linda Hamilton is the heart and soul of it. Arnold also does a great job as a Terminator can be. This is a very different Terminator than we've seen before, but the interesting story they add to this Terminator, while kind of throws you off at first, you really get into it and it has you emotionally invested in this machine in the same way you were emotionally invested into it in Terminator 2. When we're getting on to some of the newer characters, I was very skeptical if I was gonna like these guys, because just because you tell me they're important to the future doesn't mean I'm just automatically gonna give into it. And while it is a rough start, Dani Ramos and Mackenzie Davis, they earn their place in this Terminator franchise. Mackenzie Davis, for one, is unapologetic, does not hold back, has a clear-cut mission, and in a lot of ways reminds me of Kyle Reese in that aspect, of that this soldier has one set plan and will do anything to make sure that plan follows through. She's also given a nice backstory. When the action scenes come about, you really appreciate the hand-to-hand combat and the attention that some of these action scenes were given, because a lot of the Terminator franchise turned into just big explosions, which is great and all, but the fast-paced action in this movie really puts you at the edge of your seat, because this Rev 9 is the first Terminator in a long time since the T-1000 that I'm actually afraid of a Terminator, where I'm actually saying to myself, I do not want to be left alone with that kind of Terminator. Gabriel Luna's Rev 9 feels indestructible. The little touches of personality they add onto it also make you laugh throughout the film without it feeling over the top, and the creative moments they have on what you're capable to do with a Terminator that can split in two is very fun to watch on screen. When it comes to story, I'm not gonna lie, it's basically not treading any new ground. It goes right back to the basics of this person's in danger, they're the mission, protect them at all costs. In that aspect, it'll make some Terminator fans happy, and others, it'll make it feel like the Force Awakens of the franchise, which in a way it kind of is, because it is a repeat of Terminator 1 and 2, but at the same time sets it up for a new generation of Terminator fans to get into. Before going completely into the negatives though, I want to make it very clear, this is a great Terminator movie and sets a nice platform for further sequels to do amazing things. The first 3 minutes of this movie is really going to make or break a lot of people. Some who have been watching the Terminator news very closely will know exactly what I'm talking about, but all I'll say is you might be pissed, but let the story move forward, watch the film and the context of why the movie opens up that way, and you will end up loving this film. But in the negatives of this movie, it really is just not treading anything new for the Terminator franchise. This really is just a repeat of 1 and 2 with a few new elements, mostly Rev 9 thrown in there. It lacks that innovative touch to put it on the same level as the first 2 movies. Although it comes very close to that, at the end you'll feel a little empty from it. Along with Mackenzie Davis's character, this isn't a spoiler, she says it in the trailer, she is enhanced. And along with the enhancements and what they explain in the movie, they give her a weakness, and this weakness in the movie is just in there, I don't know for what purpose. It's really a bother in the movie and kind of sidelines a lot of things. I guess it's sort of the Superman effect of this person is too powerful, so we gotta give them something to weaken them. But I felt it was very unnecessary and randomly thrown in there. And then all throughout the movie, there are these subtle little lazy things they do to just kind of throw away lines to explain why some stuff is happening. I mean, one of the literal lines in this movie, when someone is asking, "What are you doing on my phone?" and they literally say future shit to just explain hacking or something like that. There's a few moments of that where it's like, no, take the time to explain this. Why can this person do this? How can a robot do this? How in the future do you even go from regular human to enhanced human? There's a lot of unexplaining they do that raise a lot of questions that I was like, I really wish you would have taken the time to build your new lore up instead of just saying things like future shit. And last thing I'll say, for the people who have read the leaks, I'm not going to tell you what they are, but for those of you who have, that are diehard Terminator fans wanting to know, don't let the leaks bother you and don't let it taint your anticipation for this movie. Because imagine if we had the internet when Terminator 2 came out and the leak was, oh, in the second movie, they turned the killer robot into the good guy. And he's also going to take orders from a 10-year-old who cries when his mommy yells at him. Also, the mother, you know how she was just a helpless waitress? Well, in this movie, she's full-on military and kicks butt, holding guns and everything. If you read the leaked details of Terminator 2, you would have hated it, but watching that movie in the context of why all that stuff exists, you love it. So for Terminator Dark Fate, I'm gonna give action 4 stars. I was really pleased with the action they had on screen. The visual effects were great. The hand-to-hand combat really had me on the edge of my seat. And the fact that it's almost non-stop throughout this movie really helps out. Comedy in the movie, I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars. It was funny at times, a lot from Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton. Nothing that ruins the overall seriousness of this movie, but the light moments of humor is appreciated. Drama in the movie, I'm gonna give it 3 stars. I really would have liked to have given it more. The story is great, but at the same time, it's nothing new. It really is Terminator 1 and 2 in a modern setting. Horror in the movie, I'm gonna give it 0.5 star too. That's mainly for the rated R. There's blood, there's guts, there's time jumps to the future, and that can get pretty messy as well. Not to mention that crazy opening scene, which I have to applaud them for because it was ballsy and it ended up working. Suspense of the film, I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. It's kind of predictable where they will go with this, but at the same time, you grow to like these characters that you want to make sure they make it out. Casual fans, I'm gonna give it an A-. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it a B+, and critically, I'm going to give it a B-. For Terminator Dark Fate, I recommend you add this to your collection at home.
That's a keeper.
I really did have a great time with Terminator Dark Fate, guys. I really think you should give it a shot. Don't let politics or anything dumb stop you from seeing it. Really hope they continue on, because this is the real Terminator 3 as of right now, and I'd love to see where this continues forward. Also, after the movie premieres on Saturday, I will be doing a live stream full spoiler talk, so make sure you watch the movie before then so we can go ahead and talk all spoiler things Terminator Dark Fate. Be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.